So in this first incident example, look at an incident where someone has gained unauthorized privileged access, root or administrator access on a particular machine. So a variety of different types of indicators may be evident or available to confirm or get more information about the intruder's activity in this type of incident. The first might be whether or not any unauthorized tools may have been installed, or exploit kits or root kits may have been installed on the system. And if you have a file integrity checking or monitoring program, this hopefully will show those unauthorized changes if that exists. You may also want to look at unusual traffic between that host and any other host in your system, your network, or external hosts. NetFlow logs and records could identify these other systems that may have been connected to or from the affected compromised system. Looking at a variety of different changes to the configuration of the system itself, such as either processes or services that are running or additional services that shouldn't have been running, changes in the profile of the particular user accounts that are on the system, open ports that are running that weren't open before, other types of network interfaces that might have been changed into promiscuous mode and might be an indication that they're sniffing packets trying to capture usernames and passwords on the network, or other types of administrative or group changes, new accounts, new privilege level accounts being added, or changes to the privileges or permissions in a particular user account or group. There may be other types of critical system files that might have been tampered with, can be an indication that maybe intruders replaced particular operating system files or libraries with backdoors or Trojan horse programs. Perhaps there was some unexplained usage of particular user accounts. Maybe they're connecting to multiple locations that they hadn't been in the past. There may be a large number of connections that they typically wouldn't be expected to see. There may be other types of usage changes that are identified by different types of data on the system. There may be, if you have intrusion detection systems, again, your network or host-based intrusion detection alerts could give you some clues as to looking at what might have been indication of a privilege level compromise. There may be other types of files that have unusual names, maybe trying to hide them. For instance, on Unix systems, putting file names that begin with spaces or dots are one way to hide it from a cursory level examination of what files are in particular directories. And there may be other types of log information or operating system things, events that are recorded in either particular applications or system logs that can also give you some indicators that privilege compromise has occurred on the particular system you're looking at. So if we look at another type of incident, here's an incident where malicious code has been involved or installed on an affected system. Like we saw in the previous slide, many of the privilege compromise questions and data sources would also be very useful to you. Hopefully, if you have antivirus software, it may detect a large number of different types of known malware or viruses, but there are always so many new viruses being used and circulated in the wild that it's not uncommon for many types of malicious code to be undetected by your local antivirus products. But this is one place where you might start looking. There may be other symptoms that are indicative of particular types of malware, depending on what the malware is trying to do. Some malware or viruses will try to propagate by sending out email messages or sending them out through other different protocols. So looking at your email server logs or other types of connection logs can be one indication of particular types of viruses or malicious code. Again, changes to key system binaries or files can be identified through file integrity monitors. There may be increased network usage, which again, your net flows or other types of network traffic activity might indicate and provide some further indicators that you have a malicious code incident. Network intrusion detection alerts, firewalls, router logs, these can also show you different types of symptoms of typical viruses or malicious code. Other types of services or ports that are open and listening, these can be identified by tools such as NetStat on the local system. If there are unidentified processes that are running, and again, sometimes the processes have been renamed to look like processes that you would typically see on the system. So this is where you might have to, again, look at file integrity checkers to see if any of those particular binaries or libraries have been changed. And other types of symptoms, such as an unusually high amount of traffic of any kind going to other hosts or directed at external hosts. Again, network activity logs can show some of these signs that are typical of many types of viruses or malicious code that are trying to gather more information or spread or propagate to other sources. And here's a third example, a different type of incident, but in this case we have a denial of service. So you might have, again, some user-related reports where people are just reporting that things are running slowly, or I can't access particular resources that I used to, dropped connections, all sorts of user-related reports. You might have some of these denial of service indicators alerted to by your network or detection systems or other types of host-based detection systems. NetFlow might show spikes in anomalous network bandwidth utilization. NetFlow and other tools like NetStat on the local host can show suspicious or large numbers of unexpected network connections to that host from other sources. You might see that one of your hosts has been involved as the source of a denial of service attack against someone else, or perhaps one of many in a distributed denial of service attack. So seeing asymmetric traffic patterns going between hosts, where there's a large amount of traffic coming from one particular host to one particular host. This could also be an indication of a denial of service attack involving one of your internal systems. Firewall router log entries can show some of these signs of denial of service. Packets that have unusual source addresses, spoofed source addresses, or going to destination addresses that don't exist or are spoofed. These too can be identified by tools such as looking at NetFlows. And then different log entries in your system and the various applications that might be running on the system. These might appear also in your system logs or any particular application logs, giving you some insight into what might have been happening or to verify that this really is an incident.